Right guys, welcome back to another episode of The Purpose Project. Today's going to be a little bit different. Today I'm going to be teaching a lesson from a mentorship program that I used to run. And the reason why I'm doing this is because a lot of conversations that I have, and I mentioned this in the previous podcast, is that this question arises constantly. And I just thought, rather than me having these individualized conversations all the time, I'm not really interested in putting this out as a proper course. I'm more interested in it being something that can help people and people can just access it whenever they want. So as a result of that, I thought, well, the perfect combination is probably doing a lesson on the podcast, and then people like yourself can just listen, check in and learn from it. And then I can also send that to other people if they are curious about, these type of questions around vision, around mission, and around purpose and meaning and things like that, which obviously closely aligns, well, not closely, it does align with the Purpose Project. It's a perfect matchup then. People can watch this and then learn from it. So what I'm going to try and do is, and my editing skills might be shit, but I'm going to try my best, or I might ask for some help from my friend Johnny, to try and put the lesson on the screen. So I'm going to teach the lesson now verbally, but then hopefully you'll have like a walkthrough on the screen that you can actually see on my laptop now, so you'll be able to see the lesson. I'm not going to make it extra fancy or anything like that. I'm going to try and keep it really simple, but I'm hoping that, even if it is a simple layout like I have, that's still going to be useful for you guys. So this lesson is the second lesson on the program that I used to run, the mentorship program. It was all about finding focus and clarity within your life and within your business. It was kind of like building certain foundations and blocks for you to be the right person to then go and achieve what you want to achieve. So lesson one's all about becoming the right person, becoming proactive, having the right mindset, taking responsibility for things. Whereas lesson two gets into the vision and mission for your life. And when I speak to people, a lot of people get confused between vision and mission, and that's why this is going to be so valuable, because this will bring a lot of clarity to you on how you actually go about vision statements and mission statements and goal setting and dreams and how they all differ. So I think that's really exciting. Again, everybody's different. So some people learn well from like visual stuff like this and chatting. Other people need teaching. Other people like doing the tasks and so on. So, listen today, see what you think of it, and then obviously you can let me know if you want to chat about this stuff any further. But I'm hoping that this is going to help quite a few people out. Lesson two, vision and mission planning. The whole focus here is basically you at this point, you're usually aware that you have the freedom to choose how you respond to things, and that's like your unique human power. Like that makes you that's your superpower basically. You get to choose how you respond to anything, and that's your human endowment that can never be taken away from you. You'll always have that freedom to choose. Everything else in life can be taken away from you, but that cannot. You can choose how you respond to any situation. So that means that you can choose to create a vision for your life, and you can choose the purpose that aligns with you, the meaning for it, and you can choose how to actually get there and how to achieve it. It puts you in like the driver's seat, so you can really work towards what you actually want to do in life. Rather than just being pulled everywhere through life, you are now more so in control. You're influencing it. You're not in complete control, but you're influencing it. And the way I like to describe it is, there's you as the individual, and you as the individual, if you get the right character and the right traits, and you look through a lens that is more accurate of the way things are, and it's based on principles, you can then be the right person to start going where you want to go. But then you have to figure out where you want to go. So that's the map. So on this visual here, you'll see the individual, and then you'll see the map. Now the map changes from person to person because it's based on your vision and mission. You wouldn't have a map for Manchester and be walking around London with it. It just wouldn't work. So what we need to do is we need to figure out your map and how to get there. And then that's where the next stage comes in. Once you know where you're going and you know the reason why you do it and you've got the purpose behind it, you need a vehicle to get you there. You're not going to be able to get there just by walking. It's probably going to be quite ambitious and quite big. So as a result of that, we need a vehicle, and that's the business. The business takes you to where you want to go. Obviously, again, there are variables, things chop and change, but for the most part, I think this visualization and this little image just explains it really well. And we want you to I want you to get to your destination, whatever that is. So a key question is if you are responsible, what is it that you're actually aiming for? And that's where vision and mission comes in. Vision is the big picture. And there's a quote here, and it says, imagining what you want as if it already exists opens the door to letting it happen. And that reminds me of, a lot of this is based on a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's stuff from Chimp Paradox. It's stuff from certain documentaries and certain seminars. Even my own business mentors have been incredible to help me identify these areas and understand it. But you've got first creations and second creations. And the way I like to describe it is first creation is the idea. So you have this idea, a random example, you might have, for the first time in your head, you might have opened up a door, which is, I want to set up a clothing brand. And you'll kind of see how it works. And there'll be a lot of stuff in that room once you've opened the door, but it won't really make much sense. And you then have to go to the second creation. The second creation is then bringing that to life, and that takes time. And there's a lot of confusion in that first thought. So this is the vision. The first thought of the vision is it's chaos. It's blurry, and you don't really know what's going on. We've got to go through that door, take what we can out of it, and start to understand it. So, and when you go through that door, you've gone away from asking wondering why is life taking you in certain directions, and you're kind of going, I'm going to go in this direction. It's what are you actually trying to build? And that leads us on to the vision statement. So a vision statement is future tense, and it's your life. You should always start with your life, and I've explained this numerous times on the course, but imagine your life. Your life is the full pie, right? And then you've got all these different bits. You've got business, you've got your relationships, you've got your training and your finances and blah, blah, blah. They're all pieces of the pie. It's a sum of its parts. This pie, this life, the life pie, is a lot bigger than that. So when you create a vision for your life, you should be thinking about this entire pie, not just one area. And your vision is basically going to answer questions like, who do you want to become? What does success look like to you? And what kind of life do you actually want to look back on? What have you done? It's aspirational, it gives you direction, and it's future focused. And it's all based on values and where you want to go. So you have an internal compass that helps guide you in that direction. Call it true north, what is your true north? And as long as you have this vision, you can go in that direction of that true north to you. And the reason why it matters is because without a vision, you end up saying yes to a lot of things you should probably say no to, and no to a lot of things you should probably say yes to. You don't actually know, and I'm going to say this later, what actually constitutes a win. You then chase short-term wins as well, and you live more reactively, so you're not proactive, you're not in control of your steps and what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go forwards. It makes it really tough. Whereas with a vision, you've got your destination, you can prioritize effectively, and you can measure progress meaningfully. So, and the way I've described it in the lesson is, it's imagine you're on a boat, you're at sea. If you have the destination and you have your compass, you can get there. As long as your ship's working well and you've maintained it, you can get there. It doesn't matter what storm is going on, you will get to that destination as long as you know what you're doing and you're the right person for the job. If not, you will be dragged everywhere by the sea, especially if you don't have a destination, and then you just end up wherever. So like I say, a vision statement is all about the future. A mission statement is all about right now. A mission statement is the purpose, the meaning. It's the reason why you get up in the morning. My vision statement has changed loads over the years, same as my vision statement. Originally, my vision statement was so simple. When I was 18, the only thing I was working towards was coaching full time and going on holiday every 6 weeks. Now, I can't think of anything worse than that. It's changed so much. But you start with something and you develop it over time. Same with a mission. My first ever mission statement was just be of true value to myself. Look after myself more and fill my cup up so I can support others. Now it's evolved to inspire other people, to spark transformation in people's lives, to champion self-development. You'll see pretty much everything I do is all centered around that stuff. And that's what I try and get out there. That's my purpose. It gets me out of bed in the morning. It keeps me turning up and facing any problem we possibly face. Even, like diabetes diagnosis, I took that in my stride and was absolutely fine with it. Same with injuries. I'm not saying I'm happy when I go through these things, but I've got such a deep purpose and meaning to help others and look after myself that it keeps me going no matter what. So yeah, a mission statement is like how you actually live right now. It's like, why do you exist? What do you stand for? And how do you show up daily? Your mission's usually present focused, it's like action orientated, and it's grounded in values. Your vision is basically where you're going, your mission is how you get in there, or the reason why you go in there. So yeah, and the quote here is, and again it's from Stephen Covey, there's no way in your own life to know what constitutes a win if you haven't figured that out. So basically there's no way to win in our own lives if we don't know what actually constitutes a win for you. So that basically is summarizing, you won't know what to say yes and no to if you don't know what a win is. And that's how you get on the right path for you. So yeah, hopefully this is all making sense. I feel like it is. I've spent a lot of time on this. So now we have like the really depressing, morbid part of what this lesson actually is. And I always apologize for this section because I just feel like it really brings the tone down. And it's funeral visualization. It's basically you picturing things when everything's said and done. And I spoke about this and briefed it on the previous podcast. And because it got interest, I was like, right, this is why I want to actually go through this in more detail. And the reality of it is like, it's not about death, this is about clarity. It's like, if your life ended many years from now, what would you want to be remembered for? And the way we do that is we look at speakers. We look at a family member, a friend, a colleague, and a member of your wider community. And what do they say about you? What character traits have you got? What values, what roles, what achievements, what contributions, what experiences? Like, you really need to put yourself in these shoes and picture what this is actually like. Like, when everything's said and done, what does your sister say about you, your mother, your son, daughter? What roles have you played in life? Are you a coach, a director? Are you a community support? Are you a parent? Like, what are your roles that you want to do? What achievements have you done? Whether they're big or small or experiences, you need to think about all these things and really put yourself in those shoes. And if you sort of like fly in the wall that situation and you get yourself in a safe environment to really think about it and really go there, you'll be amazed what will come up on that, and you will really start to get a clear picture of what that looks like. Now, ages ago, you obviously didn't have AI that you could use to your advantage, and you would write all these things down and you would be like, right, I've got all that from my mind of what I want to do and where I want to be, and it's just all jumbled and it's a mess. But now with AI, you can actually put some type of like clarity to that rather than you spending hours and hours and hours and hours trying to make it into something that makes sense to you. You don't have to use AI, by the way. I'm just saying you're quite fortunate that you've got something that can make sense of absolute mumbled thoughts. And you want to try and create a statement, and you want to do that in a way that suits you. So if you want to draw something visual, if you want to have, there could be a certain song that aligns with you. There could be a statement that you write down. It could be something that, you just bullet point it, spider diagram, whatever you call it, stuff like that. Whatever suits you, create this vision, look at it and visualize it and know that what it means to you, and you should be in a position to be able to describe it. And remember, it's in the future, it's about who you want to become, not just what you want to achieve. It includes your life, your relationships, your contributions and growth. There's so much to it. Don't just make it about, business. Don't just make it about training. Make it about your entire life and really dig deep with it. So yeah, That's one of the best ways. To be honest, it's the only way that I found that's really worked for a vision statement. Any other method I've tried to teach, it's always been a little bit too confusing and blurry and hasn't really got to the deep roots of things. Whereas with this, you'll get a lot deeper with it. So once you've done that, you're going to want to look at drafting a mission statement. And, I believe mission comes from your vision, but you just want to remember the key fundamentals. It needs to be present tense. It needs to be right now. It's something you live. It's like I live, I serve, I do, I am. For me, it's like I inspire change in people's lives and spark transformation. I champion self-development, so that means that I look after myself and inspire other people to look after themselves as well. I do all these things and I live by that, and that is my motivation, that is my purpose, that is my meaning. You'll see that every business I run aligns with that, and the way I conduct myself and the way I train, it all aligns with that. You're going to be different, but whatever you do, you're going to want alignment across your life with whatever your mission is. So I'd say look at your vision, see what alignment you've got there, find a reason good enough to get you up on your worst possible days, the days where you've lost a family member or you've gone through a breakup, or you've just, your business has gone bust, or you've just developed a disease, or whatever it might be. You want a statement that really aligns with you for all those things. So yeah, that's vision and mission kind of like summed up as best as possible, and I'm trying to teach it relatively quick so you understand it, but this is a slow process. And the reason why it's a slow process is because you've got to revisit this over and over again for the rest of your life. You want it in a place that's visual, you want it in your journal, a place to you that works really well. And as a result of that, you then want to make sure that your ladder is leaning against the right wall, so every step you take gets you to the right place, not the wrong place faster. Your vision and mission isn't fixed forever. It will change over time. So you've got to revisit that. Otherwise, you're going to end up in a place that you don't want to be. So from that, you'll have if you get your first draft of your vision, which could be absolute dog shit, but that doesn't matter, and your first draft of your mission, and that could be absolute dog shit, that doesn't matter. You'll keep working on it, and you'll get something that you'll live by, and it'll give you direction, and you'll know what to say yes and no to, and what to do and what not to do. But then what you'll need to understand that you've got certain dreams and you've got certain goals, and you need to understand what the difference between the two is. Because dreams, you cannot control, as sad as that sounds. You're not in any control of achieving a dream, right? But you can influence it, and you can influence it an awful lot. A goal, however, you can basically control. They're two very different things. And when you identify that, and you understand that, like the examples here is wanting to be loved and respected is a dream. You can never control that. You can never guarantee that. But to communicate openly and invest time in relationships around you and care for others, well, that's something that you can control. That's a goal. So what you need to do is you basically need to figure out what these dreams are you have in life. And then each dream is going to consist of sometimes a fuckload of goals. Just so many, it's ridiculous. But then you need to break this down into something tangible you can do. You've got a vision now, you've got a mission, you've got your dreams. Let's break it down into something tangible that you are actually in control of and you can influence. For most people, like an easy example is your dream might to be in a certain physical condition or achieve a certain fitness feat. I know a lot of people that listen to this are obviously into the fitness. So as a result of that, you can do things like create a training program, hire a coach, you can hire somebody for a nutrition plan or research that yourself. Look at habits you can do on a daily basis. Look at how you can prioritize recovery. And organise your work-to-life balance, make sure that you actually have a routine that supports this area of your life. And you want to break that down into step-by-step. So, creating a training program, if you can't do that yourself, what's the step-by-step? Who are you going to speak to? How are you going to do this? What is it going to look like? Same with your nutrition, same with your recovery. You want to create these step-by-step guides to get there. And what that does is, that takes something that at one point was just a thought because you opened that first door, and now it's something that, even though it might be a dream and it could potentially be out of reach, you're doing everything in your power to influence more things than ever in order to achieve this vision, to achieve this dream. You've got more clarity in your life. You've got better decision making. You know where you're going. You know why you're going there. You've got more meaning, and you understand that from having such a in-depth purpose and mission, you can delve into that for motivation, and that can give you a kick. And you understand that dreams inspire and goals actually execute and bring things to life. And having clarity on things just simplifies that decision-making process. It's an amazing thing to have. Now, I personally have, I use a journal, I have vision statements in there, mission statements in there, I revisit them, throughout the year. Sometimes I'll spend months on it, just chipping away. Other times I'll have a day or two where I just delve in and I really, really get to grips on it. There's loads of different ways you can go about it. But what I would say, do something that aligns with you, because I've said this on a post the other day, everybody's blueprint's different. There's certain principles, there's certain universal laws, there's certain things that work for everyone, because that's the way life is, but then you are different, and you are just probably going to work in a slightly different way when it comes to figuring things out. So yeah, this is the end of this episode on the Purpose Project. Obviously it's completely different, it's a lesson. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's probably see me a little bit different because I'm actually teaching you rather than just chatting random shit on a podcast with my mates. And yeah, any questions on it, anything you want to know, fire away. I love this shit. I love teaching it. So I'm here to help. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.